A warm welcome to our weekly review, where we'll bring you the updates of the week. Please stay tuned for the talk show at the end. As we start, this week, the Ministry of Trade and Industries released guidelines for bars to follow as they open. For bars to be open, they should be registered, and all workers in the bar should be vaccinated against COVID-19. And each worker is expected to be screened every after 14 days. The means of payment are digital. Each person going at the bar must wear their masks and wash their hands. And all windows and doors must be opened 24/7. In every bar, there will be a staff member following up and monitoring that guidelines are followed. In cases whereby the guidelines are not followed, there will be punishments.
On Friday, September 24th, the President Paul Kagame had a 2-day working visit at Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. On the first day of his visit, Kagame addressed Rwandan troops deployed in Mozambique. During the visit, President Kagame also held a tete-a-tete with his host President Philip Nyusi, followed by a bilateral meeting alongside their delegations. On the second day of the visit, President Kagame joined President Nyusi at a military ceremony for Armed Forces Day that was held at Pemba Municipal Stadium.
And in entertainment, Platini Nemeye, also known as Platini P, and Medi were nominated for one of the most admired music awards, All Africa Music Awards, under the category of Best Artist, Duo or Group in the African continent, which is set to happen next month live. Besides performing, they were the only Rwandans nominated for these music awards, and it is believed to be a big step for the Rwandan music industry, as Platini Nemeye said.
Welcome to the second segment, our cup of thoughts. So today we're going to talk about those different neighbors that we have. I bet we all relate to this, and that's why we're going to talk about that, and maybe you can get one or two things and you improve if you're that bad neighbor, and you will keep being a good neighbor if you're one. So I want to give you guys an example. Have you ever had a neighbor which will always borrow you stuff? Do you know that kind of neighbors?
Yeah, oh my God, they can borrow and borrow. I don't know, from a matchbox to salt to everything. I don't have a problem really borrowing. I don't make it a habit that every now and then you're knocking at my door asking. Once in a while, if there's an emergency, you can, but always, no, it's boring. You reach an extent and you're like, Abi, I'm not a charity organization.
Also, let's face it, it's not even independent. I mean, the person might be kind-hearted in the world, but one, twice, third time, at a certain point you become irritating. So who wants that? What can we do to solve that?
So I think in this case, if you refuse, sometimes they will say this person is stingy, or those kind of words. But I think you can limit, you can inform the person when to borrow and what to borrow, what makes you you can tell them that it's okay to tell them that borrowing too much is a bit out of the line for you. So it's better to communicate in this case. Tell them what's best for you, what do you like, and what they do that you don't like.
Basically, it's okay to say no. And also, do you know those alcoholic neighbors? The one who would knock at your door at 3 a.m. because they may be mistaking their house to yours?
Yeah. Now those ones, those ones, I don't even know. They're the kind of people that make you wonder, why did I even get a house next to these people? First of all, they drink a lot. Monday to Sunday, it's party. Anyway, so they drink a lot. They have friends. So sometimes you're like, who is my neighbor? Like, you see different faces. All right, people come in and go out. So you're thinking, well, what's happening in there? You just want to know what happens, because there's a lot of noise till morning. You wonder, when are these people actually working? Because every now and then there's a party. They're up and down, they're buying drinks, So there are a lot of movement. Sometimes they're like, one day steal my things. But anyway, that aside, they make a lot of noise, and yet some people really want to go to work the following day. So I believe in such scenarios, when you find that you are a bit uncomfortable about that, talk to them, or if not, relocate. Happiness matters at the end of the day. Yeah.
Which other type do you know?
The gossip ones, the ones who like gossiping every single story of the neighborhood. They want to talk about it, and they don't care if it's the truth, or if it's a lie. They just go with it. You tell them, or they hear about something, they run with it, and then they come to your doorstep like, you know what I've heard. Like, let's say the woman next to you, she doesn't care for her children, she even cheats, those kind of things. So those kind of neighbors exist. They'll even come to knock on your door even when you're sleeping. They don't care. They just want to bring information. They want to, I have something good for you. So for this case, I think, you don't want to, you can come up with them and tell them, gossiping is like, you don't want to address the issue right away, but you can communicate and tell them, I don't like talking about people's business. I just want to mind my own and go on with the day. If they don't listen, as Joan said, happiness matters. Relocate, or even you can even ignore them. Just maintain a distance between you and them.
I also think it goes with the very suspiciously friendly neighbors. Those kind that, hey, he wants to be your best friend, or she wants to be a best friend. She wants to know what you ate, how you guys are doing, where your kids are going to school, how much are they paying. Like, hey, she's there giving you advice if you have a problem. Hey, she will tell you, your kid is doing this. They're very friendly. It's okay. People can be friendly naturally, right? But there are, when someone is doing it someone is doing it too much, you will know, and that is suspicious. And most of them are maybe getting information from you. And most of the time when people are friendly, we tend to pour our hearts out. We tend to open up and tell them, you know what, so this is what is going on in my house and all that. And at the end of the day, you're the gossip of the neighborhood. So, watch out.
Do you know those people that don't have boundaries? Like, literally, they don't know. Okay, for a kid, you can know, like, you can just know that this is a kid. But for an adult that doesn't know that, okay, today, let me just give someone space. If I visited in the morning, I can visit some other time. And why don't you wait me to invite you? Okay, I find it weird. You come in the morning, you come in the afternoon, you come. Okay. Not in a bad way, but if you notice, you found someone busy. Yeah, especially if you're not invited. You can say your highs, especially if the door is open. But if the door is closed, like, don't insist unless it's really necessary. There are people you see, they want to come and watch a match. Probably they don't have DSTV and they want to join you. Well and good, but first text. Ask me whether I'm comfortable. Do not just come on my doorstep unannounced. So ask me whether I'm comfortable. This thing whereby people think we are cool, we are bad days, That thing, by the way, we need to give boundaries, to leave boundaries. Some people do not even have that, I'm doing this and that. Some people fear, like, saying no. And I've also come to notice that some people just don't want to cook, especially the singles. Will come, I can even tell you, oh my God, I love your food. They can tell you how you're the best cook, just in the name of what? To get a plate of food. Probably they don't want to cook, or they just didn't do shopping. So, my dears, if you're that kind of neighbor, stop inconveniencing people. Get to know when you're needed and when you're not needed. And read signs. Sometimes maybe you're needed, but then you're overstaying.
I think the right word for that is no boundary neighbors. And who wants to be that? Who wants to have that kind of neighbor? Do you also know the ones we could call copycats? Do you want to tell us about that?
So here's a scenario. You're stepping out of your house. You're wearing a nice dress, beautiful shoes, your bag. You're smelling good. Then your neighbor comes to you and they're like, "Oh, you have a beautiful dress." And you say, "Yes, thank you." And then she goes on with, "Where did you buy it?" Of course, you have to tell them. You can't hold the information, so you tell them, I bought it from maybe Chic. And then, can you please specify where you found the buyer of this dress? And then you go on even to give them contacts. That's fine. The next day, they come to your house. Nice sofa. Where did you find it? You tell them. Next day, nice TV. Where did you find it? You tell them. Next day, you're smelling good. What is your perfume? So they basically want to be you. And you can see it because you can see it through what they do. They want to be you. They want to do everything you do. They basically want to be you. So I think sometimes it's not a bad thing because, you have someone who wants to be you. It's flattering, right? But sometimes someone needs to be themselves too. They don't have to always do something that doesn't define them. So I think it's better to talk to the person, tell them it's okay to like what I do, to like what I have, but try to be more of yourself.
Also, it makes me remember when we were kids, you would go maybe at somebody and you're like, "Mom, Dad, why don't we have a TV like in Ace's house?" It's okay. It's okay when it comes for a kid, yeah? And it's also okay to tell your neighbor one or two things and maybe tell them when the prices are cheaper or where the quality is better. But,
Or compliment.
It's okay to compliment. But then, if I put pink nails and then I do my hair like this and then I also put pants and you want to also do the same thing, and then you ask me, "Where did I buy my shoes?" Tomorrow you have the same shoes. Tomorrow you have the same bag. There is lack of originality, and at a certain point, that might be interpreted as talking. I don't know, but that is not something to really appraise, right? So we can say a lot about it, right?
Yes.
And I believe there are also some good neighbors, and among the good neighbors, there are also those who say no, and those who tell people honestly. So I believe the very first thing we can share among us what are the things that characterize a good neighbor.
A lot defines a good neighbor. Good neighbors are there to support you, like in all situations. Yeah, they even give they give different kinds of support and advice where necessary. Truth be told, the times that you need a friend. And what if your friend is miles away? You're maybe sick, you don't have a car at that point, and it's the neighbor that can rush you to the hospital. So good neighbors are important. And another thing, in case of an advice, the times you just need someone to lean on at that specific point. I give an example. Or when you lose a job, when you lose a loved one, they're there because they're the immediate people. By the time your relatives come from Musanze and wherever, or outside Rwanda, the neighbor is there. The neighbor is there to help. Yeah. So I believe there's still those good neighbors that just want you to, to stand together. Even when you shift, you're still in touch. Some neighbors become family, some neighbors become friends. Yeah. But also, they can be good to you if you're a good person. If you're also your characters are not really great, you don't attract great friendships. So it starts with you as a person. for you to have great neighbors.
Don't we all have neighbors? So we choose, we be good or we be bad. Well, for more stories, visit our website www.newtimes.co.rw. Thank you for staying with us. I am Iriza Jed Natasha,
Ines Rutaisire Umunerwa,
and Joan Babas.